Good evening, student. Today I will discuss about color code carbon resistors. Already I have discussed about temperature coefficient of resistance or resistivity. As we know that temperature coefficient like as alpha, which is positive for conductor, negative for semiconductor, but in case of alloy it becomes 0 because resistance and resistivity both are independent of changing temperature. That's why in alloy the temperature coefficient alpha becomes 0 nearly. Okay, so first of all we represent resistor. There are two types of resistor. There are two types of resistor which are used in commercial purpose. First one is alloy. So alloys like as nichrome, manganese, and constanta. These alloys whose alpha becomes nearly 0 because if you increase the temperature, then their resistance as well as resistivity independent of temperature. So that type of resistance which are used in practical purpose. In some cases its resistance becomes maintained when you increase the temperature. Initially जेतिकी थिला फाइनली भी सेतिकी ही रहइबो रेजिस्टेंस. तेणु ए टाइप रो एलॉयस को आमे साधारणतः व्यवहार करूचे प्रैक्टिकल पर्पस रे आगु जोडा पढिबा लाइक एज मीटर ब्रिज, पोटेंशियोमीटर. In that type of experiment we have used alloys like as nichrome wire, manganese and constanta. Okay, but for a high value of resistance, that means very high value of resistance, we can't use that type of resistor. So in case of high value of resistance, we can't use that type of resistor. So we use another type of resistor. So we use another type of resistor that is called carbon resistor. जेतोळे आमे हाई वैल्यू रेजिस्टेंस कंसीडर करिबा प्रैक्टिकल पर्पस पाई सेतेबेले आमे ए टाइप रो एलॉय बा रेजिस्टर को आमे व्यवहार करि परिबा नाही. तेणु आमे सेथि पई आमे कोन व्यवहार करिबा अनदर टाइप ऑफ रेजिस्टर को व्यवहार करिबा ता कहबा कार्बन रेजिस्टर. So the second thing is second resistor can be represented as a carbon resistor. So what done by carbon resistor? That carbon resistor whose resistance is very high. In this type of resistor, in this type of resistor, resistance is very high. Okay, and that type of resistor is in compact size or very small size. That type of is very small size. Clear? So carbon resistor means whose resistance power is very high, and also the type of resistor whose size is very small. So due to small in nature, due to small in nature, we can't see or we can't write the value of their resistance. We can't write the value of resistance on that resistor. So thus we coded by some color on that resistor. Therefore, that type of resistors are called color code carbon resistor. Because to know the resistance value. Clear? Carbon resistor means it is a one type of very high resistance resistor, and that's resistor which is very small in size. Due to small size nature, we can't write the value of resistance on that resistor. So we code it by different color on that resistor. Clear? That's why that type of resistor are called color code carbon resistor, because to know the resistance value. Clear? So please note it. After that I will erase that one. Okay. So ଆମେ କେମିତି define କରିବା carbon resistor? तो धरि नबा this is the carbon resistor. That can be coded by some color. This is the first color, second color, third color, fourth color. Clear? So that carbon resistor represent 4 coaxial color bands. That represent 4 coaxial color bands. Okay, 4 coaxial color bands. In that type of carbon resistor, first 2 color band represents first and second color band gives what? Number. Or I am लिखि परिबा significant value. Or significant figure. Okay, first second color bands. These 2 color bands represent number like a significant figure. Third color band represents multiplier. Third color band gives multiplier. That means what? Order of number. Okay, order of number. That third band represents order of number or multiplier, and fourth color band shows gives tolerance. Means how much amount of percentage error which becomes defined. Variation of percentage from the given value. Fourth color band represent tolerance. That means tolerance means what? केते amount रो error रोची ताहा जणेबो कि fourth color band. That is called tolerance. Okay. After notifying all these values, after notifying all these color in a perfect manner, we can represent the value of resistance. Okay. So that number, multiplier and tolerance which are represented by a tabular form. Please note it. Okay. So if you assume this is the color code carbon atom, color code carbon. So in color code carbon, 4 colors are represents. First 2 color bands represent number. That means number means significant figures. That is third color band represent multiplier, means order of that number or significant value or figure. Fourth color band represent tolerance. How much amount of error becomes generated. Clear pile? 4 coaxial color code bands. Okay. So ये जो color code carbon रो हमें resistance किपरि भावे जानिबा सेति पय हमें कोन कले चारिटा कलर रे हमें रिप्रेजेंट कले कलर बैंड रिप्रेजेंट कले. फर्स्ट दीटा कलर बैंड को नले नंबर हिसाब रे, थर्ड कलर बैंड को नले मल्टीप्लायर हिसाब रे, दैट इज ऑर्डर ऑफ नंबर. फोर्थ कलर बैंड को नले टॉलरेंस हिसाब रे केते परसेंटेज रो एरर देखौछ. ओके, को कलर बैंड केते परसेंटेज रो एरर देखौछ ताहा हमें जानिले फोर्थ कलर बैंड हेक्टर रे. ओके, ताको आमे कौन करिबा टेबुलर फॉर्म रे रिप्रेजेंट करिबा प्लीज नोट इट सो फर्स्ट आसिला कलर सेकेंड आसिला 1 2 कलर बैंड और हम लिख परिबा नंबर थर्ड आसिला मल्टीप्लायर थर्ड और मल्टीप्लायर फोर्थ one is tolerance. Okay, so in that case we can define by using tabular form. So कौन कौन कलर नबा प्रथमे ब्लैक ब्राउन रेड ऑरेंज येलो ग्रीन blue violet grey white तो first two color band represent number black and represent as a 0 brown represent as a 1 red represent as a 2 orange represent as a 3 yellow represent as a 4 green represent as a 5 blue represent as a 6 violet represent as a 7 gray represent as a 8 and white represent as a 9 so first 1 2 color band represent their number so this is the color and that is the number of their that color clear and third color band represent their order of that number that means order that is 10 to power 0 that is the third or multiplier we can write that is multiplier second is 10 to power 1 10 to power 2 10 to power 3 10 to power 4 10 to power 5 10 to power 6 10 to power 7 10 to power 8 10 to power 9 so third color band represent multiplier that means order of that number clear so these colors whose multiplier can be represented as 10 to power 0 10 to power 1 10 to power 2 10 to power 3 10 to power 4 10 to power 5 10 to power 6 10 to power 7 8 9 10 we can write similarly whenever we consider tolerance in all these cases their zero tolerance becomes there that means there is no error of resistance that is perfect value of resistance but in several colors like as gold silver gold whose tolerance is plus or minus 5% silver is plus or minus 10% and also no color like is whose tolerance is plus or minus 20% okay except these colors gold whose tolerance is plus or minus 5% that is error whether 5% अधिक थिबो resistance किंबा कम थिबो silver 10% अधिक थिबो error किंबा कम थिबो नो कलर इफ any other color semananकर tolerance केते होछि plus or minus 20% थास except this colors. Okay, so this is the table for color code carbon. Please note it. हेले दया करी ए टेबल को मन रख. ए टेबल द्वारा तमे प्रत्येक कलर कोड कार्बन रेजिस्टर रो तमे विभिन्न प्रकार रेजिस्टेंस पाई परिबो. तो ए जो कलर कोड कार्बन साधारणतः तमरो 2 मार्क क्वेश्चन पई आसे. तो को हिसाब रे आसे साधारणतः ये तुमको प्रॉब्लम आकार दे पारे. सपोज तुम गोटे कलर कोड कार्बन दबो तार डिफरेंट कलर बैंड रे डिफरेंट कलर को से नोटिफाई करिवो. तापर से पचारिबो how much of resistance present on that color code carbon. Okay, please note it. After that I'll discuss about some problems about color code carbon. Clear? Okay, suppose समूह गोटे कौन दबो से गोटे कलर कोड कार्बन दबो तार चारिटा कलर थिबो बेसिकली से पचारिबो से कार्बन रहला सपोज ए कलर बैंड नला ग्रीन एटा नला येलो एटा नला वायलेट एटा नला ब्लू. Okay, say पचारुची what is the value of resistance of that color code carbon resistor. How to define the resistance of that color code carbon? As we know that first two color band represents their significant numbers. So green represent as green, that is 5. That is the resistance. We can write that is 5. Green represent 5. Yellow represent also 1, 2 color bands represent their number. Green, yellow represents 4, that is 5, 4. Violet represent their multiplier, that is the order of the number significant. That means order means 10 to power. Violet represent 10 to power 7. And blue whose tolerance is 0, that is there is no error, so that is plus or minus 0, so we can't write that is value. So resistance of that color code carbon is for 54 into 10 to power 7 ohm. This is the easiest color code carbon and this is the accurate value of that color code carbon. Okay, इले दया करी ए टेबल को मन रख. ए टेबल मन रखिया द्वारा तमे इजीली गोटे कलर कोड कार्बन एटम रो रेजिस्टेंस तमे इजीली बाहर कर परिबो जोडा कि तमरो साधारणतः 2 मार्क क्वेश्चन आस पारे. ओके पिले, सेकंड थिंग आमे जदि अनदर गोटे कलर कोड कार्बन नबा सपोज लाइक दैट. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this is also another color code carbon, that is blue, black, yellow, silver, gold. तुम पचारिबो what is the value of resistance of that color code carbon. So how to calculate the value of resistance of that color code carbon? So here blue can be represent the value of the first color band, that is blue equal to 6, so 6 is here, that is R equal to 6. Black can be represent, that is 0, 0 is here. Yellow can be represent as yellow, that is third color band represent their multiplier, so yellow we can write that is 10 to power 4, that is called multiplier. Third color band represents multiplier. 10 to power 4 is here, and gold represent the tolerance, so that is the error. So gold whose tolerance is plus or minus 5%. Okay, so resistance of that color code carbon atom is given by 60 into 10 to power 4 ohm plus tolerance केते 5%. साधारणतः ये जो कलर कोड कार्बन रो रेजिस्टेंस एतिक थाए ताठरो अधिका थाए 5% किंबा कम थाए 5%. This is the value of color code carbon resistor of resistance. Clear? Please play note it, note करो. Okay. So, thank you.